Welcome, everyone. It's a nice summer afternoon, and I really appreciate all of you who have joined in to spend some time with me today, or just you and me, and and many of our attendees who have joined in. And we'll have a good conversation about some of the topics of today. And this is kind of like the summer is blowing by, and I'm still seeing people popping in, and I really appreciate all of you taking the time when you could be out there on the beach having a fabulous summer day. But there are many interesting topics that are up for discussion based upon what has transpired over the last 7 days. And if you have seen some of my social media postings, we try to take a stance with many of these different issues. And really what's going on is our social media following, many of them, they pop up here and they want to do a little bit of a deep dive with some of these issues. So that's the agenda we have. These are questions that will come from the audience today. And we have been running our town hall meetings since 2019. The very first one we did was in the month of May 2019. We announced the run in March of 2019. And then back then we were doing 3 town hall meetings a month, one in each county. We did that all the way till I would say when the pandemic broke out. And then we were actually trying, I remember those days in March of 2020, we were still trying to push the town hall meeting. And I was asking my team, let's book the room, let's have the meeting. Face to face is very important to me. And then finally, I realized that no, this is a pandemic. We really cannot meet face to face. And then we started doing these Zoom meetings. And a couple months later, we actually started the reality check with Rishi, talking about COVID-19 and lots of very interesting topics like the PPP loans and the EIDL loans. So they are still there on the website at rishikumar.com/reality check. And you'll find some of these video discussions we had with experts when it comes to like small business loans, or even with like doctors from Stanford and Valley Medical Center talking about COVID-19. And back then I would say April, May, June, things were changing pretty dramatically. We were getting access to new information, and so it led to some very interesting dialogue. And so what can I say? We continue with the Zoom meetings. I really don't like these Zoom meetings. I would much rather be somewhere face-to-face with all of you, having a good conversation, but we'll make the best use of what we have today. So, essentially, I want to provide you a little context, a little background of who Rishi is, because I see many who are here for the very first time. And so I'll just provide you some sort of a context. And then we'll start taking the audience questions. The audience questions are composed of 2 types. We have looked at some of the RSVPs that we got and the questions that were asked, and as part of the town hall RSVP, and we'll drill through those. And obviously, we'll take some live questions from the audience. Some of our audience members have already sent in questions. We'll take those, and then we'll look forward to getting a few more. And we suspect we'll be done by about 3:30 or perhaps a little bit later, which is what has been typically the case with our town hall meetings. Okay, so one of the things I would like to point out is we are walking, knocking, and talking. So what does that mean? We are actually in the peak of our campaign for 2021. And we have hundreds of volunteers who are talking to neighbors, because that engagement to understand policy, to understand their angst, to understand what is important to them is very important to me. And what we had done in the city of Saratoga, we touched upon every single door back in the 2018 election, which had never been done in 60 years. And actually, true story, my wife Seema said that it's impossible. You are not going to get there. And we actually finished it 2 weeks ahead of schedule, because we were blessed to have so many people who came out. We used to run something called a breakfast of campaigns back then. Every Saturday morning, they would show up in my backyard, have breakfast. We would train them, and they would be out and about knocking on doors. And we got some pretty amazing insights from talking to people, and we call it field data. The field data is now rolled into yesterday. One of our volunteers was knocking in Los Altos and reported back that one of the candidates who had run for Los Altos City Council had supported an issue for many years, but having a conversation at the door, she quickly realized that it's time for change, and we got her support. And interestingly, right after the 2020 elections, talking to some of the elected leaders, they all said that, many of them said that, hey, I supported you, Rishi, but I just couldn't endorse you openly. So there is still a little bit of, a holdback, which is all right. Sometimes it takes time for folks to realize acquired taste, perhaps, and we are willing to wait. But we are finding tremendous support from our volunteers when we go door to door. And I'm walking every day between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. And what I've done, though, is knocking on every door, and we call it a precinct. I'm walking in a precinct, but while I'm walking, I try to engage in a conversation with anybody I see, anybody and absolutely anybody who's willing to listen to me. And sometimes these conversations can go for like 30 seconds, or sometimes it could go for 30 minutes, which has been the case. So, but these conversations is what I look forward to, because it provides me the guidance, the perspective to succeed as your congressional rep. And that's why these conversations are extremely important. And I'll keep doing this. My pledge is to knock at doors, meet neighbors every single day between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m., which is what I've done for, I just keep looking at our audience that is gathered on Zoom. And so we'll keep doing that. And for me, actually, it's the best part of my day to be out there meeting with people and having conversations, because that education is very critical for any elected leader's success. And it's interesting because how many people might have come to your door? So just think back and try to remember how many have really come to your door, and you'll find not a whole lot. And I remember probably 3 people have come to my door, and in all these years, and I still remember those 3 extremely well. So it's a huge game changer to have these conversations at people's door, and that's the reason why we do it. So quick recap. One of the things is, we were running last year in 2020. We fell short, the very first election defeat, if you might call it that, but it was a tremendous learning experience, because I call it like climbing Mount Everest, and you have to hit the first base camp, which is what we did last year. And we gained more votes than any other challenger in the last 30 years. And quite proud of what our team did. We had over 1,000 volunteers. They came from 29 states. And we went to 100,000 doors. We couldn't knock on doors last year, but we were leaving flyers. And then we also called 86,000 seniors, offering them help with groceries and medications. And we had a whole volunteer team established in different parts of the congressional district. And we were actively dropping off food, groceries, medications, masks to primarily seniors. And I was quite happy with the ability to help our community. And we obviously had stopped a campaign back then. And then we restarted around mid-July, when it sort of became a little bit better. We dropped our tier. We started going to doors, and we couldn't have conversations, and that was the handicap with us, the shortfall of 45,000 votes. And we believe we can overcome that. And what we have built out is a very strong agenda for the next 2 years in terms of what we are going to talk to people. For example, it's a bipartisan agenda. I do not believe in Supreme Court packing. 9 Supreme Court judges are enough, what we need. And because there is no end to the drama, if we keep adding every new regime change and they add more judges, that's not the way we're going to solve any problem. The Supreme Court is meant to be a nonpartisan effort, our judicial system. So let's keep it that way. Jobs is very important to me, coming from Silicon Valley tech, council member of Saratoga. My policies are all about the people, but also in creating prosperity. The income gap has gone up like crazy over the last 2 or 3 decades. and it's time to bridge it. It's time to create opportunities. My campaign always starts in the most disadvantaged part of the congressional district, which is what we did in 2019 and again in 2021. We believe in standing tall for the people who don't have a voice, and we believe in creating opportunities for them, but also for everyone else in the valley. And high density housing is a big problem right now. So I've been speaking up fearlessly against high density housing or against issues like prop up with water, with San Jose Water Company or PG&E. And this our solar. We have major solar challenges coming in Silicon Valley because of how PG&E is enforcing some of the rules, working with legislators. So we launched a protest a few weeks back to talk about it, let people know about this, and getting them to engage, because solar should be an investment that any homeowner can make without any prejudice, without any issues with how you are going to maximize the gain or reduction in your own bill. And our legislators or PG&E should not hold them back. So anyway, I digress. So these are sort of my priorities. I believe in Medicare for all, and Congressman Eshu does not support Medicare for all. I reject all PAC money and special interest group money. Congressman Eshu does not. 50% of our money comes from PACs and special interest, and we reject all of them. So anyway, that's to provide you a glimpse of the reason why we are running. So, let's leave it at that. And I would love to go to questions and see what's out there. So I'm going to pick up a few questions that came via email. And so one of the first questions I would like to bring up is from Deborah. And she says that she does not believe in Anna Issue's pharma connection. I don't believe it. It was actually a little bit of a harsh words. You are plain lying. And Deborah has been voting for Anna for quite a few years. And I respect Deborah's viewpoints. But everything we say in our campaign mailers or in our emails is very factual. And I would like you to go visit a website, which is my campaign homepage, which is rishikumar.com/facts. Let me provide that. Here we go. So let's provide that. Typically, we have a moderator for this meeting, but what we are telling our campaign team is, let's get out there and be busy. I can manage this town hall meeting. So I'm going solo with this one. So take a look at this website. This link I just posted on the chat window, which is rishikumar.com/facts. And these are third-party sources that talk about Anna Issue's connection with pharma. We say it in a very gentle way, but I'm very sorry to state that Congressman Issue has sold out to pharma, plain and simple, because she's the #1 recipient of pharma money in the U.S. Congress, and the bills that she has proposed would increase the price of healthcare. For example, she raised the patent protection for biologic drugs from 5 years to 12 years, which prevents generics from being rolled out. And I referenced it in the email that I sent out, how people felt that it was very unfair because it will lead to an increasing price. And plus, it will also lead to less innovation in the healthcare industry. And the fact that she chairs the House Health Subcommittee and is the #1 recipient of pharma money is a huge issue of concern. People call it a conflict of interest, which is what I've heard when we are talking to people. And so that's what is going on. And if you saw recently with the whole opioid crisis and how many people, about 1 million people have died over the last 20 years. And, if you saw the news, in fact, that was part of the email that we had sent out inviting RSVPs to the town hall meeting. A bipartisan state attorney coalition basically announced a $26 billion fine for Johnson & Johnson, AmerisourceBergen, Cardinal Health, and McKesson. And they basically were distributing these opioid painkillers. And Johnson & Johnson themselves have about $5 billion fine. And I'm just getting a text message. I should stop looking at my text message. So anyway, so great. I see a few more people have joined us. Thank you all. Thank you. We'll keep going. And if you have questions, please send it through using the Q&A box, and I'll be happy to answer all questions. Through this meeting, I'll put a few links. For example, if you are new, if you are visiting us for the first time, I would like you to visit this web page. I just posted that on the chat window. It's blinking probably for you. So just click on that, rishikumar.com/about Rishi, and you will see a little bit more of a deep dive with respect to who is this guy and why is Rishi running. And plain and simple, I'm a problem solver. I'm an activist. Before I joined the city council of Saratoga, I was an activist for many years and always championing issues to protect people. That's my calling. And that is the reason why we are running for United States Congress, because some of the major issue is the technological illiteracy that we have in Washington. And I don't say that. This is one of our congressional leaders actually talks about that. Our elected, I mean, you may have seen the congressional hearings on tech, and they turn into spoof videos. I actually enjoy watching those videos. In fact, we have a couple playing on our website. And it's a disaster. It's a disaster when our congressional leaders try to grapple with tech. They fail miserably. And as a tech executive who worked for IBM Cisco, I believe we can get a lot of stuff done. But I digress. Let's go back to Deborah. Deborah, so what we state are the facts, and it's all driven by data. It's there on the link. So please go and take a look at that. Lots of third-party sources that talk about it. And also we have a link on the website which points to opensecrets.org, which has the actual numbers. How much money has Congressman Eshu gotten from pharma? Okay, let's pick the next question. And okay, I see there's a question from Rick, and I served in the Iraq war, and I was surprised to see US leaving Afghanistan's Bagram airfield after nearly 20 years by shutting off the electricity and slipping away in the night without notifying the base's new Afghan commander, who discovered the departure more than 2 hours after they left. And, I don't know what the question is, but I think it's more of a comment. So, well, I think, part of my policy, Rick, firstly, I salute you for serving. I salute you for serving and for being there for American citizens. And I admire your courage, and I'm there to serve the veterans, to make sure that they are in good hands. Because my take is they should be never left in the lurch when they come back after serving. They should be provided education and an opportunity to get back into the real world and be productive citizens. And when they have healthcare challenges, when they have issues with how they have been affected while out there serving in the front, then we need to take care of our veterans. And that is a key component of my agenda. But when you look at the wars, I have a simple policy. Let me see if I can find that web page for you. If you go to my website, you will find a search box. And what I just did was I put the word war in that search box, and out came a URL, which is really Rishi will fight for peace. So I'm going to post that to everybody, and take a look at this one. It is this link will lead you to a policy paper on war, and I will send you the facts link again, rishikumar.com/facts, and then rishikumar.com/about Rishi. So please click on these links if you would like to. And as we go through our meeting today, perhaps you may have more questions as follow on to these items. But when I say that Rishi will fight for peace, I'm absolutely against war. And if you look at the track record, Congressman Eshu has supported multiple wars. with Libya, with let's see which ones, with Libya, with Afghanistan, with Balkan War, Somalia, the war on terror in 2001. And my approach would be, I will not support regime change wars. There are big problems happening right here. America, as a country, we spend $715 billion annually on wars, on arms and ammunition. And I think we need to divert the funding to other causes, including protecting our country from biowarfare, cyber terrorism, from even the ransomware that is going a little haywire lately. And we need to provide resources to help fix these types of challenges. So just excuse me for just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's keep going. And I don't know where I was. Okay, we were talking about the wars. And so let's go on to the next question. I kind of lost my chain of thought, but there are a few more RSVPs coming while this meeting is on, and hopefully they'll be able to join the meeting. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Okay, so here is a question from Norm, and Norm is actually referencing the variant, and is a little worried. I'm worried about the variant, and what should you and I be doing? What should America be doing? So let's talk a little bit about the variant because it's been in the news, and the Pfizer vaccine is apparently 39% effective with this new variant, the Delta variant, and Johnson and Johnson is much less effective against the Delta variant than it was against the original version of COVID-19. So this is this apparently it is affecting quite a few countries right now. Indonesia is become the epicenter, and Israel vaccinated early, and apparently they're finding a little spike. So it seems like the vaccination is effective for some time, and then it starts fading out. So perhaps we might need booster shots, and I think we have these CDC is basically pushing back on booster shots, even though Pfizer would like to roll out the third booster shot. So they are currently talking to each other, trying to figure that part out. And so the bottom line is the folks who are not vaccinated, they are the ones who are being hospitalized today, is what we see in America. And this was Christian Choi, an assistant professor at UCLA School of Nursing, made that comment recently, that almost like 99% of individuals who are hospitalized have not been vaccinated. And as of July 15th, which is just a week or so back, we noticed that the 7-day rolling average of new COVID cases have gone from 27 last month to 95. And so it is definitely spiking. And many of our counties across the United States, especially the ones states where there is the belief system with vaccination is not so prevalent, they are finding a little spike. But the fact is that people are responding to that and they are showing up to get the vaccinations. When I look at, for example, Santa Clara County, I believe we have about 66%, at least 66% have taken the first shot, and about 72, 75% have taken the second shot. So that's a pretty large number, but there are still some who have not been vaccinated. So yes, I think we have to be worried. We should not drop the masks yet, and the social parties have started. People want to meet each other, and we have been to a few of these backyard events. People are having them in the open, but they are essentially uh, having this where people, when they show up, they're not wearing a mask. And the first time I showed up, we had a mask, and then nobody else was wearing one. So we drop our guard, and sometimes I feel that we should not be going to these gatherings, but it's very hard to stay away. And this weekend we had a couple of these gatherings. So anyway, yes, we have to be worried, and just maintain social distancing as much as possible. Wear a mask is what I would say, Norm, and be cautious, because uh, load up on your vitamin C, vitamin D, very important. And if there is a booster shot, if you're not vaccinated, please do consider getting vaccinated. And booster shots come out, you probably want to evaluate them also. Okay, so let's keep going. So it's a very related question from Helen from Las Caros. And how can we get everyone vaccinated? There are so many who don't want to. And I've seen that myself. One of my close friends is all masked up every time, but does not want to take the vaccination. And all I do is send articles over to him talking about why it's important to vaccinate. I haven't actually bothered to find out why he does not want to be vaccinated, because it could be a long conversation, and somehow I don't enjoy long conversations when you're going to be like poles apart. So all I do is I send him some information, and we'll see. Phil Valentine, a talk show host from Tennessee, a vaccine skeptic, he was hospitalized and in critical condition, and he was against mask, against vaccination, and we pray for his soul. He unfortunately passed away, and so we have to treat it very seriously. And if you follow the news with Phil Valentine, you will notice how much of a skeptic he was. And his brother came to that same talk show, and he was talking about the condition Phil was. And I think just yesterday he passed away. So treat this as something very seriously, please. And people tell me that we should open up the economy and we should get back to normalcy, because some of us have been vaccinated. We shouldn't have to suffer. But you know what? If people start falling sick, then it hobbles our healthcare system, and ultimately, many a times the feds have to spend for their healthcare. It's not a very easy thing to do, to just open it up and let the folks who fall sick fall sick. I don't think so. That is the right solution. And then when you see the Palo Alto father who ended up suing the school board because he does not want his child to be there with a mask, this is what is going to slow us down. If you see the 1918 pandemic, we had, I believe the pandemic lasted for about 15 months, from spring of 1918 to summer of 1919. And so having said that, this one has stayed its course for almost 17 months, and seemingly it has gotten stronger. So it is key that we are all vaccinated. We all consider the booster shots, and we still continue with social distancing, and try to convince those who are not, because the sooner we get them vaccinated, the better off we are. And when I compare not being vaccinated or vaccinated, it's a no-brainer because you are safer with the vaccination, I think, compared to all these. We have seen how countries have gone completely, just like crazy stories coming from so many parts of the world, how they have been impacted with the vaccination. Millions of deaths. So it's time to do that. Okay, I see David asking a question about 45 bills versus 4 bills, uh, and he's asking he's asking the question point blank: who's lying? Is it you or Anna? And so what we are saying is we have found 4 bills, and Anna claims 45 bills. And so what we will say is, just please go to this URL, and you will find. What is it? Okay. Okay, so here is the URL. You can click on that, and if you would like to send a message over chat, please feel free. Any comments, we would appreciate that. And so this URL basically summarizes it. We have actually gone through. Sorry, we don't play the game of smear campaigns. I'm a tech guy, work for companies like IBM and Cisco, and I try to be as authentic as possible because I just don't believe in playing the game as politics has been played out to be. We are trying to shift the thinking. We are trying to change the culture of politics. We will never do any smear campaigns. What we state are facts. And if you go through this link that we just posted, rishikumar.com/deceptive, you will find screenshots of flyers, of emails that have been sent out by Congressman Eshu. And well, we respect her 30 years of service, but it doesn't mean that we have to extend the truth. And I truly don't know if Congressman Eshu got a little worried because she had a challenger last year when she sent her claims of 45 bills. And we went through her campaign mailers from a few years ago because we found them. And we realized that many of the bills that she claims were never signed into law. And the proof is there in this particular link. And then many of the bills were just the fact that she was a co-sponsor. Many of the bills in Washington have hundreds of co-sponsors. And I've actually talked to a congressional rep who told me that, Rishi, the only bills that matter are the ones that I have sponsored. So anything else is not acceptable. So as per the record, the congressional record, Congressman Eshu has only 4 bills, and 45 is a misstatement. I will state it gently. We will never agree with 45 bills. And I had lunch with Senator Jim Bell the other day, and he was saying that he had hundreds of bills in his time in Sacramento, perhaps inclusive of his Assembly and Senate, which is a total of 12 years, which is the term limit for the state of California. 12 years total in the Assembly and in the Senate. And we need these types of term limits in Washington as well, because our politicians stay there for a long time. And if you're not able to impact some of the big challenges, there are quite a few challenges today with our housing challenge, with homelessness, with traffic, with water infrastructure, with the tech exodus, with big tech, with privacy, you name it, California fires. And we discussed many of these topics at the debate. And here is the URL for you. Click on that and you will see the video that is a debate between, it was more like a candidates forum. We just went through questions after question, and it led to a good discussion about various topics. And you can compare and contrast, where we stood on some of the issues with California fire or with the COVID-19 plan and things like that. So anyway, we strongly believe that Congressman Eshu has 4 bills, and 45 is not right. So let's go on to the next question. We referenced PG&E, and I can see Brenda has a question, which is the PG&E is causing fires once again. There's a fire close to Paradise, and PG&E has claimed it happened because of their infrastructure. What's your plan to fix it? And One of the things that I've been talking about is the municipalization of utility companies that are failing us. And we have a petition to municipalize San Jose Water Company, which 6,500 people have passed. And I believe we should do the same thing with PG&E. In fact, Mayor Sam Liccardo in San Jose has talked about acquiring PG&E assets to see how they can manage their own power for the city of San Jose. When you look at PG&E last year, they took the time to pay out executives buybacks to lots of buybacks and bonuses with their executives, and they are not really spending time on infrastructure and upgrade. And the Dixie fire is what Brenda was talking about, where we see this fire happening, and PG&E acknowledging that it happened because of their equipment. And that fire is now almost, last I saw, it was 47 square miles. It probably might have grown even beyond that. Now, when you look at my analogy, in fact, I was posting this on social media just a few days ago. We have we need maintenance for software, and that software provides. If there are any glitches with software, then we are making sure we are able to keep up. And I don't know what funding is available. I think we need to have a rainy day fund or a sinking fund for PG&E to manage these types of issues. And California needs to roll out a strategy based upon cameras, the fire detection cameras, and many other different approaches to see how we can get out of the fire. We are not out of it yet. This will continue all the way till November, and until the rains arrive. And I remember August was pretty bad last year. I hope we don't have to deal with that. But unless we hold PG&E accountable, actually, I'd like to cut to the root cause. Part of the problem we have is the fact that PG&E is managed by PUC, the Public Utility Commission, and most of the commissioners, they come from the utility industry. So it's like fox guarding the henhouse. We need to create accountability in our system, and having the deck of cards stacked against the people is never the way to solve problems. Okay, so the next question I see, Jay is asking, my son is in your fellowship program, Rishi, and he was recently talking about the policy boot camp. Would you like to talk about it? So provide a little explanation as to what that is. Okay, I'm going to type in a URL, which is, okay, here we go. I just sent it out. And so, this is the policy bootcamp, 16 weeks, and we'll provide the framework. We'll build a foundation based upon American history, based upon American economics. And then from there, we will derive the current state of the policies and affairs in America, and why we are here. Why is healthcare like this? All these different issues will sort of build a structure and provide over 16 weeks. It's going to be about a total of 5 weeks, 5 hours a week. We don't, because I know school will be session, because we'll start like late August. And we really don't want to take away our students from getting their grades and focusing on their band or debate or whatever else, AP classes. So we have purposefully kept it to about 5 hours a week, but I believe it'll be sufficient for our students. And this is by invitation only, so people can apply, but there are going to be a variety of different factors that will decide who gets into the program, because seating is very limited. And we currently have professors from Stanford University, from Columbia University, think tank experts, policy experts who will be driving the discussion for this class. There'll be group collaborative projects also, where teams of 4, 5, 6 might decide to huddle over Zoom or perhaps face-to-face and come up with project presentations. And the bottom line is there'll be tremendous learning. And if any child is looking at politics, perhaps running for office, or perhaps just curious to find out, we highly recommend that you join this program by applying at this particular link that I sent out. Okay, I'm waiting for some questions, some more questions. Let me just keep running through the questions. Okay, so Bob from Saratoga is asking, Rishi, what is the status of the RENA appeal? How many cities have filed an appeal? So this is, all our cities, we get a quota every 8 years. Saratoga has 1,700 housing units. We haven't built 1,700 in like at least a couple of decades. So numbers are very high. We don't have the jobs here. So we filed an appeal, and so did Los Altos Hills, let's see, Palo Alto and Saratoga and Montesrino. There are 6 cities locally right here in Silicon Valley that have filed, along with about 19 other cities. And essentially, we believe that it was not the formula that was used was not right, and that was the foundation of our appeal that we have filed, and ABAC will go through it. And the public, in fact, can send out a comment to ABAG, and I've sent out an email about that. So it's also posted on social media. So if you would like to send your feedback to ABAG, you can actually use that link, the email, and then send your feedback to ABAG. But we go through this drill every few years. 28 appeals, actually, not 25, 28 appeals. And here is the email address, rena@bayareametro.gov. It's let me just send you the email link, which is right here. Okay, just sent it out to all of you. And hopefully that answers the question, Bob. Great question so far. Let's keep going. Okay, Sam is a question on drought. What are we going to do about it? And I actually talked about this at the last town hall meeting, and the video should be out there. But let me see if I can find the specific. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Water infrastructure. So here is my page on water infrastructure. Bottom line is we need to, I just sent out the link, rishikumar.com/priorities. Just search on the website if you're looking for it, water infrastructure, and you will find our position statement. Now, one of the things I posted recently was with Israel. They're helping out a tribe in Arizona, and they have this water gen meters. It produces 211 gallons, 800 liters of purified water daily, and which is helping out the tribe. They are in the middle of nowhere. And Israel, in the middle of a desert, has come up with some very innovative approaches, including desalinization, and they are self-sufficient with water. So I think California needs to do a lot more. We need to expand reservoirs. When I hear people that we should shrink reservoirs, no, I don't think so. And when you look at, for example, the Anderson Reservoir, for 10 years, it was waiting for a retrofitting project because in an earthquake, it could collapse. And that's the danger of living here in California. You have to go through retrofitting, and we needed money. So the project was in the back burner for the last 10 years. And finally, the feds came and they shut it down. They said, no more. So we have to drain the water, and we have to do the retrofitting, which will take 10 more years. So for 10 years, we will not have access to water from Anderson Reservoir. And the reason why I know this is because I'm on the Valley Water Commission, and I've been tracking this for the last few years. I think we need to build a better plan of how we will cater to the population needs, a water infrastructure plan. And things we have to look at it from, we have aqueducts that take water from the Sierras, they move it to Los Angeles. We also need to see how we can get water from different states, a pipeline grid of a water pipeline that would take water from the parts that get a lot of rain and push it into states. And just like we rolled out the freeway system, we need to spend some time in creating the vision plan for this. So anyway, those are some ideas we have. And obviously planting drought tolerant vegetation, conservation. I've held seminars in the past. We do this, we talk about this, and it's part of what we would like to see. But at the same time, we have to plan for the future needs. For the last 20 years, I don't think so anybody's done anything to create net new sources of water for Silicon Valley or for California, and we can do a lot better. So anyway, this is going to be a serious component of my agenda in Congress, because this is the reason why we have the exodus going on. People are sick and tired of the issues we have here, and people are leaving in droves. And that's the reason why a congressional district, we have lost a congressional district based upon the census. and the district lines have been redrawn as I speak, and we should see an announcement at some point. Okay, let's keep going. Uh, uh, I see this question from Bob on SB9, SB10. Let me clarify what that is. And so Bob is asking, what is the current status of SB9, SB10? And these are these are housing bills that are currently in the state of California. And SB9 allows you to split lots in single family homes and to also with JDUs, ADUs, which is, additional dwelling unit and accessory dwelling units, sorry. And so you could have a potential of 6 units in one single lot of today. This is not going to happen today. It'll happen down the road. What about SB10? SB10 will override any sort of ballot measures that were rolled out by citizens. For example, Measure G was rolled out by people in Saratoga. That will be null and void with SB10, and it will fall up to the city council to essentially approve anything and everything. So this is not right. What has been done is we are applying the same cookie cutter version for every community, every city, every neighborhood, and that is flawed. There are some communities that have plenty of jobs, that are creating jobs. We need to have housing there. That's a good thing. But far-flung communities that do not have jobs, but that are, sort of land is very expensive, then they are targeted to build homes because it's the developers would like to maximize their gain from investment. And this is where it's going wrong. I also, with a lack of urban plan, we need to do a better job of urban planning with respect to schools, infrastructure, water, roads, traffic. So, just to build housing and go all out with an aggressive additional housing units in every city is not the right approach. So SB9, SB10, to answer your question, is actually stuck at in the Sacramento, and it's currently the recess. After the recess, it'll likely be put to vote. But there are clubs that are pushing back, and we are not sure at this point if they will pass. But we are going to keep expressing our voice. You may have seen my email asking a call to action with SB9, SB10. So please do send your feedback to your assembly member and even your state senator. Even though I think it has passed the Senate, it's actually in the assembly, and after the assembly, it'll go to the governor's desk, and hopefully it doesn't get there. Okay, so we are almost. Let's take this question. It's I've never gotten this question before. It's from Ricky, who's asking my stance on Cuba, and it's very simple because I did post something on social media. 184 nations have demanded that we should end the embargo, and America should change policy. U.S. again voted against the UN call to end the embargo, and so it's time that we freed Cuba. We brought them into, let's stop the embargo and make it easier for Cuban citizens. And so that's my quick and easy stance with respect to Cuba. So that's all I see. Well, all right. I really appreciate all of you joining. We still have okay, here is one from Helen. Okay, Helen, thank you so much. I live in Mountain View, and you should see the mega condo units that have been built on Villa and Evelyn without any traffic considerations. The ones in El Camino are a different matter. What can we do? Yes, you're right. The ones in El Camino, we already have like 3 or 4 lanes on El Camino, at least 3 lanes on each side in many parts. So it's probably okay to build homes on El Camino or apartments. But when you are building these mega condo units on in single lane roads, that could be a big problem. And we have a similar project going on here close to my home, close to Saratoga, I would say, which is the El Pasillo Saratoga. They're building 12-story and 14-story buildings. I don't know what the latest on that is. When they conceived the project, it was 12-story, 14-story. That project is going forward. And the Saratoga Avenue, which is right next to these construction projects, are already clogged up. I try to avoid them as much as I could when I'm driving. And to have this, 14-story building in that area, it's going to slow down the traffic like nothing can. So Helen, I feel your pain, and my suggestion is to express with your city council as much as possible and have them take action, which is what I have done here in the city of Saratoga. I'm constantly asking my city council to take a firm stance. That's the reason why we appealed the RENA numbers. That's the reason why we have sent out letters to David Cortese, and we have sent out appeal letters to various elected leaders and also to ABAG. So please express your voice. This will disrupt Silicon Valley like there's no tomorrow. And I would never, ever support such a thing. We need proper urban planning before we can embark on these fabulous projects, if I may call it that. Any other questions? I really thank all of you. Thank you, Helen, for the question, and thank you all of you for joining. Let's see, what were the questions that we had today? I'm going to call them out one more time. We had a question from Deborah about the pharma connection. We had Rick about how America left Afghanistan's Bagram airfield. Norn was worried about the variant. We had Helen, who said she would like to see everyone vaccinated. And, I think these were great questions. So David was concerned that whether it was 4 bills or 45, we tried to clarify that. And Brenda had a question about PG&E mismanagement. And Jay had a question about the policy boot camp and RENA numbers, and then drought, and SB9, SB10, and Cuba. So that was it. Our town hall meetings are always held on the last Sunday of the month, always. This is actually the last Sunday because the next Sunday happens to be August 1st. So I actually was caught a little blindsided because I didn't see this the last Sunday coming by so quickly, but we caught it in time and we managed to do our town hall meeting. I'm hoping that if we are able to do well with the variant, then we can have face-to-face town hall meetings. I really would like to get those going. In September is what the plan is. We'll see how it goes. We are going to be cautious, obviously, but I hope to see you at a town hall meeting, perhaps next month or the month after. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Great questions, good conversation. I wish we could have a more interactive conversation when we eventually meet face to face. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of Sunday. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye.